Hi, and welcome to another quick opinion by Piece of the Past. I'm Kevin Martin. We're going to talk about something that's very important and very misunderstood and screwed up in the market today. That's value. As the largest buyer of entertainment autographs, especially in that field in the world, every day we have people that either call us up and they have an exaggerated sense of what their item's worth, and that means they've been looking on eBay again, or the other way around, they have no idea because there's nothing out there. They say they went to Barnes & Noble and so forth. Indeed, can you believe in a multi-billion-dollar field like ours that every price guide is out of print right now? Here's the reason for that. The short history of price guides started with George and Helen Sanders, a couple of very close friends of mine. In fact, George appeared on my television show on Home Shopping Network. I'm the only person to have had an autographed television show for 6 years on there. And he had a good time on there. He did 6 editions of his guides. He had started just as a collector. He was really only a part-time dealer near the end of his life. And after 6 editions, he'd retired. So I negotiated with him to do all the work on his 7th edition because there hadn't been one in the field in a while. And I'd finished all the work and negotiated to purchase the price guide when tragically he died. Helen Sanders decided to give half of the interest in that price guide to their publisher up in Inca, North Carolina. He wanted to do it by himself, and he approached a couple of collectors here that put out this 7th edition. All they did was regurgitate material, which they did twice, never even updating anything. So it's wildly out of date because his last one had already been back in 2005 and 2006. So even this one from 2009, 11 years old, was pretty much useless when it hit the stands. Even the articles were taken from earlier editions of his guide. So with Helen Sanders, the widow's permission, and with Autograph Collector magazine joining me, I put out in '99 the first edition of the one that everyone used for about 6 years, and that's the official Autograph Collector price guide. Now ours was very up to date, but by the time I'd written the 4th edition of that guide, I'd already been a vocal opponent of third party and some of the things that they're being investigated now by the FBI for, rightfully so. And so they made a push to buy out the percentage owned by Autograph Collector magazine, which had traded hands by then, and forced me to sell the guide, which I did. They took my material and put someone else's name on it, and that guide is 10 years old as well. I had to stay out of the marketplace because of a non-competition clause, and now for a decade we've had no price guides. They like it like that, third party and the rest, because they want you to think that the prices are higher. Here's what I mean by that. Take Elizabeth Taylor, for example, that routinely sells on an 8x10 signed photo in the $350 to $450 range. But if you want a full letter from one of the third party people, they're going to charge you upwards of $200. Now, if you were a dealer and you paid a fair price for that to begin with, you're going to have $200 in it. By the time you authenticate it with an opinion, which is backed up by nothing, you guessed it, you have to sell it for $600, $700, $800. Which they try unsuccessfully to do on eBay. So price guides, for now, we're going to tell you how this is about to change drastically, but for now, weren't doing anybody any good. So where else could they turn but eBay? Nation's garage sale, eBay. Ah, yes. Well, eBay, 20 years ago when they started, was an auction company. Not anymore. I mean, not really. Almost not at all. In fact, to give you an idea, if you ever search at the top where it says buy it now or auction listings and look at signed materials and autographs, you'll see 250,000, 500,000 listings that are buy it now, meaning a set fixed price. But when you click that tab to say auction, it'll drop down to a few thousand, not even 1%. It's gotten that bad. What do? Well, they take an item that they know is worth $100, and in good cases, they'll put $200, buy it now or make me an offer, hoping you'll come in and make them an offer of $100 and you think you've stolen it because you've offered them half. In fact, you've paid them what they wanted all along. There are worse examples. History for Sale, owned by the late great dealer Todd Axelrod out of Las Vegas, our hometown. Well, he's been dead for years and they're just on autopilot with their listings, about 16,000 listings. It's been a joke ever since he's been on eBay. I mean, they just put 10, 20, 30, 50 times the price and hope that someone will give them an offer that they want. It's just been the way they've done it. Why is that damaging? After all, free country, right? They pay the listing fees. They should be able to price it any way they want, even though it doesn't sell. Here's why. Because when the person finds the thing in the attic or inherits the item or decides they want to sell their item, they go online and they see Natalie Wood, and let's say the only listing of a Natalie Wood is by History for Sale, and they have $2,000 or make them an offer. Well, Natalie Wood on a good day is $400. no one's going to offer that low. They don't sell it, but it's been poisoned in the mind of that person, so that when we come in as a dealer and say, hey, we're going to offer up fair for you, $200-$300 for that piece, they say, you're trying to rip me off. eBay's not good. If you must look at eBay, here's what you do. You click the tab at the top right that says Advanced Search Settings. Then you go down and you search for what you're searching for, but at the bottom you click Sold Listings. Now the listings are going to come up the last 90 days, and the sold ones are going to come up in green color instead of red or black, green color. At least then you'll have a good idea, as long as you're comparing apples to apples. Why, by that I mean a Guy Williams signature is worth one price if it's just a signature on a piece of paper, but if it's a portrait, it's worth more. If it's Zorro, it's worth more. If it's Lost in Space, more again. So again, if you looked at a Lost in Space item and you're trying to sell me a signature, you know, $1,000, $400, big difference. So what can you do about it? First of all, there is an unbiased collector-run site that's just emerging into the field that we're excited to endorse called AutographTip.com. AutographTip.com. Great resource and material. They're building out this site right now. It's had a soft launch a few weeks ago by two collectors out of New York. It's fabulous. And I've decided, they've tapped me to do this, and I've been honored to do it, to introduce something new called the Living Price Guide. And the reason it's called the Living Price Guide is constantly going to stay up to date in this digital world that we're in by being updated constantly by real records of what things sell for. That's the only way to really determine the value. And things have changed. There's been a big shift as certain collectors are dying off and getting older. I mean, I've been doing this 34 years, and we used to sell Radio Orphan Annie. We sold Rudolph Valentino photos for $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000. A beautiful 11 by 14 that I would have loved to have had back in the day. Just sold at a high-profile auction house for $800. Why? There are no Rudolph Valentino films to watch anymore, and people don't even know in this new collecting generation who he is. Sadly, that's pretty much true about the Natalie Wood I mentioned earlier. Yeah, John Wayne and Judy Garland and the Three Stooges and James Dean and Marilyn Monroe are still blue chip, and your Babe Ruths and all. But it's getting to be a lot of people, and this just happens every generation, are forgetting the generation before. If they're not on DVDs, if they're not mentioned in a song, if they're not in a movie that's perennially watched, like, say, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas or It's a Wonderful Life or Wizard of Oz or Gone with the Wind, the collectors just aren't there for them anymore. So price is very important. Check out Autograph Tip, where they've debuted the letter A in the new price guide for free, and then it's going to be part of a paid site that they've got some exciting things coming. We're going to do some very inexpensive appraisals, an industry first on our site in the coming weeks. You're going to stay tuned and watch for that too on here. Pricing, very important. Make sure you get the facts. Happy holidays, everybody, from all of us at Piece of the Past.